Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on what side of the world you're in. I'm Half-Life-Sistah, and this is my hubby wolfkain.
What's up, everybody?
Welcome to my channel and to another episode of Sistah and the Wolf Reaction. We're back with another patron request presented to you by Lewis. Came back.
Thank you, Lewis. Appreciate
Hi,
that.
baby. Yes, I hope you and the family and your grandkids are doing well. Okay?
Never easy. Always appreciate the support.
I know, indeed. So today Lewis is bringing us Accept, baby. It's a not retro, it's a throwback song. I think it was in 1983, I think.
Yeah, this is early heavy metal. Yeah.
Oh, really? Wait a minute. Did I read that it was a rock? Never mind. Listen,
It toes the line because it's early heavy metal.
Mm-hmm.
They certainly have songs that could qualify as just rock songs. This is
okay.
Twisted
Sisters.
Yeah, I mean technically kind of, yeah. I can't say I know how to describe this to you accurately in the real world. I can only describe it to you the way I looked at them when I was a kid.
Okay.
And the only real band that I was listening to at this time that was like this was Quiet Riot. I don't know if you Come On Feel the Noise, Girls Rock Your Boys.
No, baby.
We'll get wild. Okay.
It's okay though.
But you've actually been exposed to Accept on your Twitch stream.
Yeah, I know. Balls to the wall.
Balls to the wall.
And that song, they sound so. The singer at the time, 'cause I think, based on the information I've read when I was setting this up, the band members have changed so much throughout the years, and the only consistent person is the drummer, which is
him and the camo. I recognize.
I forget his name.
It was formed in '76. It was founded by a guitarist, Wolf Hoffman.
Oh, guitarist. Okay.
He's the founding member.
I'm sorry, I remember it correctly.
Yeah, Udo was the vocalist.
Okay.
Peter Beltes was the bassist, and that's the early Accept.
So when I set this scene up, I gathered some of the older images of them when they were in the band during that time of the release of this album.
This is how I remember them from the '80s.
Yes, but then I also included the list of gentlemen that are currently in the band today. So
Okay.
there's been so many different people here and there.
I remember that guy's face.
The little short one?
Yeah.
He's so adorable.
He's very memorable.
So this is the current band right now. Yeah.
Yeah, so is this off the Balls to the Wall album?
I'm sorry.
What album is this off of?
Balls to the Wall. Balls to the Wall.
Yeah, so that's the same album, 1983.
Why you got that ball in his hand, baby?
And we have
that ball in his hand for?
I was gonna say,
do?
I'm gonna say, why is this fine, upstanding gentleman holding a stress ball in his hand, getting ready for a hard day of work?
I know, right? And what's
that is a stress ball, yes. That's
what's
not
so annoying. Oh, they're there.
That's a ball gag.
What's annoying is when I first was introduced to this band, the only song I've ever heard was Balls to the Wall.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, babe.
What was your impression?
Listen, I love the song, but I could not stop visualizing testicles pushed up against the wall, and I couldn't get away from that. But the song is great.
You're taking it too literally.
I take things way too literally. But the singer at the time, the little guy, he sounds so much like the singer with AC/DC. Like legit, like identical to him. So
yeah, I thought that was ridiculous when Sir Teufel said that. Yeah. And then I actually listened to it and I'm like, wait a minute, I do hear some AC/DC-ish like quality
straight
to
up and
it.
down and out in a circle.
Yeah,
so I mean, yes, I'm excited to hear this song.
And what's interesting is, God, I remember hearing that song as a kid, and I just thought it was...
Balls to the Wall?
Yeah, I just thought it was the dumbest thing I ever heard. But when I heard it recently on your stream, it's weird how nothing sounds as bad as I remember.
Yeah, me telling me that.
And that's where that separation between like Judas Priest and Iron Maiden happened for me, where I was an Iron Maiden guy. And you know, you've got the Judas Priest guys, but the Judas Priest guys were also listening to stuff like this.
Yeah, but I was gonna say, would you consider Accept along the lines of a
not
Judas
anymore.
Priest?
I used to, but not anymore. Because
really?
I had the wrong take on Judas Priest. It just so happened that the people who were Judas Priest guys were also listening to stuff like this. So I kind of lumped them all in, but they really weren't, because Judas Priest, they had such a variety in their sound, and they have different like eras and stuff. But 80s Judas Priest was, to me, kind of like this.
Yes, I mean, they put me in the mind of them.
Yeah.
Feel, you know?
The thing is with Judas Priest, there's a totality of work that is different.
That is different.
And that does set them above, and you know,
Gotcha.
above the rest in my opinion.
Really?
But that's why I always lump them in, because again, as I was listening to this stuff in the 80s, I was listening to 80s Priest. Like when I heard an album from the 70s from Priest, ooh. like night and day. It was like amazing.
Really?
And then, you know, I got back into Priest in the 90s when they came out with Painkiller.
Painkiller, baby. Oh.
But that 80s era, it was just like all kind of like that. And it was never my style. It was never what I was into. I was more into the thrash scene, which, by the way, we're all influenced by people like this.
Right, of course. Yes.
So now I can look back and give them respect that they deserve.
That's what's up.
And for some reason now it just doesn't come off as bad as I remember it. And quite frankly, the songs sound better than I remember. I just think, you know, when you're young and you're an elitist, you have kind of, you're very closed off to a lot of stuff.
Yes, of course.
And, you know, we used to call stuff like this, like we would call them posers and stuff. Yeah. And, you know, that's what the thrash scene did. Don't hate the messenger, but, you know, I was that guy.
That's crazy they would consider poser though. It's weird.
Well, it's a long story. I'm not going to get into it, but it's also silly arguments and stuff.
It is.
Now as an adult, obviously, I have a better understanding and a better appreciation for all this stuff.
Right.
So I'm not that same guy, so don't think I'm the same guy.
Of course, baby, but they've seen you evolve on this channel.
Yes. I've got some criticisms here and there early on.
Slapped your ass in the shape real quick.
But the thing about me is I don't like to be a person who's biased, and I don't like to be a person who
on the wrong side of things.
On the wrong side of an argument.
Yes.
So when I do hear those things, I do take them in. I do think about, okay, what is it about this that I have a problem with?
Yeah.
And am I supposed to is there a problem? You know?
Yeah.
What I come to realize is even stuff that I don't like, you can't say something is bad or good because anything that exists is liked by someone else.
Right, and it's also preference.
So it's just a matter of, okay, it's not for you.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it sucks.
Exactly.
It's like that whole Tarja Floor argument. Just because you don't like Tarja or Floor doesn't mean the other one sucks.
Exactly.
It just means that you have a preference.
Right, yeah. All right, let's go.
Spilling water everywhere.
Make sure it's high enough. Is it high? A little low. So throwback, so retro. I love it.
Yeah, it's got that throwback sound.
Yeah. Okay.
I know that you're out in the cloud, and I feel how you burn your hate in my soul. It's like I hit my hand in your coat and feel a stainless steel of a soul. Years have gone by, I know that you've left you before I pass by.
is that? I don't know. I'm listening. I don't know what I'm hearing right now.
That sounds like a drum machine.
Okay.
I can just see them.
Who knows?
Men, you're dying for what you've lost but never had, 'cause you've been losing more than you have ever had. Men, stop longing for the girl you make so sad, always losing.
That is a nice chorus.
I know. I am.
It's been a long time since you were star.
Singing the heart.
It's been a long time since you were star. It's been a long time since you were star. It's been a long time since you were star. It's been a long time since you were star. It's been a long time since you were star.
Okay, except, you know what? I like this song a lot. This is a song that you can listen to anytime.
So that sounds like what I remember. Yeah.
It's
from
a
back in the
really
day.
fun song. I mean, just a very cool, very bread and butter. You know what I'm saying?
But that's how I looked at that kind of heavy metal back then, almost like pop music. It had this
kind of,
very
yeah, it does have
it
a
had this
feel
very
of pop.
That's this
Yes,
particular sound
I
to
agree
it.
with that. That was a
But-
fun song
Yeah, it's
with a
like.
great chorus.
But the thing is, the people who grew up on it, like, I think part of the issue was, even though I started listening to like Quiet Riot and stuff like that, I was still in my infancy. I think if you're like a teenager growing up in this era,
Right.
like things that have helped me like get this kind of music is like, you know how we're watching what's that show, Stranger Things,
Yeah.
and we see, you know, the badass brother in his Corvette.
Yeah.
This is the kind of
is the
stuff
kind
he
of-
was playing.
Right. Gotcha.
And I'm
gotcha.
like, man, I can see myself, if I'm his age, this
Yes.
music is cool as
yes,
shit.
when you, exactly.
Like this music, I would be blasting
it's
this
pretty freaking awesome.
because
yeah.
as of up until that time,
Yeah.
this really was the music of that time. You
Right,
know,
right, yeah.
You had Black Sabbath coming out in the '70s, really making music heavy, but then also this was making, you know, taking what Black Sabbath did, which is kind of gloomy and doomy,
Yeah.
but also adding a little fun, but also a little young teenage angst to it.
Yes.
So
I love it.
I get people who grew up on this and why they like it. You know,
Yes. Okay.
it's certainly like not something. You know, I can't even say this isn't for me because in the right mood, like if I'm in that kind of
You can't imagine
Corvette
yourself working
teenage,
out though, like to this.
I actually could.
Yeah, me too.
I actually could, but again, because I'm enjoying the retro flavor of it. Like
Right.
at the time,
Yes.
it seemed dated, even though it was new.
And that's the thing I don't understand.
I know, I say that a lot,
Which I
but-
do, though, because I mean, the 80s clothes, the style in the 80s was very dated, in my opinion.
I always
It
thought the
just
80s were
wasn't for me.
dated. Yeah, like I knew like this was not my time. The 90s were
But
my
the
time.
music, I can't relate to that. I can't relate to when it comes to the music. But the clothes, oh my God, it's dreadful.
I get it.
I always think, you know, for example, this reminds me of Judas Priest. I'm
Right.
like, what sets them apart from a Judas Priest, you know?
Like I said, the body of work.
Yeah, the whole body, okay, the body of work, I guess. Yeah.
Except from my understanding, and remember, I haven't heard all their music, but I think generally they stayed within this type of sound.
Gotcha.
Whereas Judas
Whereas
Priest
they have
has
a few-
done significantly different things.
Yes. Okay.
I think Judas Priest to me has three very distinct eras, which is they've got that 70s era, they've got the 80s kind of glam era, but then they also have that 90s very heavy metal.
Wow. And that's
era.
with the painkiller, right?
Right. I would say
Ooh.
almost they went
I-
extreme. in the 90s, whereas
Gotcha.
and I think that's what kept them around, whereas bands like Accept have a very cult following, but they never got as big as Judas Priest, because I think Judas Priest was able to
Spread themselves out much more to a broader audience.
find a way to stay relevant, I was going to say, because music during different eras change.
Yeah.
And you got to keep yourself relevant as a band,
Yeah.
because there will always be people who enjoy your retro music.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
as a band, you have to evolve.
I
Otherwise,
agree.
people will, they'll always appreciate you as a retro band, but they'll, you won't get any new,
I agree, and I
fans.
feel that Painkiller is the best heavy metal song.
It's
I mean, I wouldn't say the best heavy metal song, but it definitely feels like it is the most heavy metal song.
they do so
If
many
that
things
makes any
right
sense.
in that
Oh
song
my God.
that it's
Oh.
impossible not. To me,
Oh,
it's like.
man.
I'm not a big fan of power metal, but when I heard Through the Fire and the Flames with Dragon Force, they do so many things right in that song, it's impossible to deny.
Right,
and for
right,
me,
right.
that's what Painkiller was. It's impossible to
Yes.
deny the drum intro, the
Oh,
veracity,
my goodness.
the
His singing.
his extreme vocal,
Yes.
taking pushing his vocal as high as I've ever heard it.
Felt so good, so heavy. Oh,
Yeah.
I love it.
It's just like you go all in,
Yes, baby, yes.
and sometimes it'll work, sometimes it won't. But that just worked. It worked.
Indeed.
This was fun. I was literally thinking about the teenager in a Corvette, possibly breaking up with his girl, or because we were all there, and this music really does fit that era.
It does.
And I do have
This was
an
a
appreciation
fun listen,
for it.
I just want to rock out sometime. This is a really fun listen.
And I did
Thank
enjoy
you,
the
baby.
chorus when they were doing the chorus and
did
stuff.
too.
It kind of it really brought me back.
Really? To a place you didn't want to be? That you didn't like to be?
Well, I didn't say I didn't want to be there. I wasn't there in the 80s. I was there. When did I start driving? In the 90s, early 90s.
Early, yeah, probably early 90s.
Yeah, so by then I was already listening to something different. If I was driving in the 80s, yeah, I could see myself,
Yeah, I understand. I'm
cranking
just
it out to
teasing you.
this. Yeah, for sure.
Moving forward, not sideways. Thank you, baby. I hope you guys are doing well. Okay?
Thanks for exposing her to some of the
More
early stuff.
Accept.
You're really getting to understand the musical scene, right?
Yes. Thank you.
What are you thanking me for? Thank Lewis.
I take my thank you
I
back.
didn't bring this to you. Lewis did.
But I thank you for your input.
Lewis, let me know what
the-
this...
What the
You're welcome. But Lewis, let me know what your input is on this song and why you chose it, because I like to know that. And when you guys make requests, let me know that, because I really do want to.
Most of the time you guys do.
I want to get in your mindset as to what the song means to you and when, because context is everything. And like I said,
Yes.
my context has changed so much that I hear this stuff very differently now. But I want to know what your context is and what, out of all the songs, this is what you picked, and I would like to know why.
Yeah.
So leave a comment and let me know if you can.
Okay, baby.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Can I thank you now?
Yes.
Thank you so much.
No, can't thank me.
Okay.
I did nothing. You're so thankful.
I hope you guys enjoyed this reaction video, and if you did, please give us a thumbs up, comment below. Do not leave without subscribing, but also do share our content as well.
Click the bell to get notified.
Yes.
And as always.
Keep it metal. Metal forever, baby. Don't look at me. I can't thank you.
It's a thing that we
Love
say.
you guys. Bye.
Love you.
On to the next one. Change the pictures. I'm over it.
For what you've